Hi, everybody, and welcome to the Monday edition of Proline Daily, the longest-running sports handicapping show in America, coming to you direct from Las Vegas. NBA and NHL on tap, along with some baseball this evening. First, a recap of the weekend. Jim Feist, not too bad. Inner Circle winner to start the day early on Sunday with the Rockies, and then you wrap it up by winning a TV blowout of the month with the Texas Rangers. 12-6 the NBA run, 115-68 for the season.
It's been a good year. 2017 has been sweet, collecting every week on the diamond and on the floorboards, and it's all good. How about that game last night? 21-point lead, third quarter, blow it. The biggest. It's unreal. Well, you know, the good thing is at least we had a game where both teams decided to show up, and that was good. I'm not
sure they both showed up because with about half the third quarter to go, I guess Cleveland decided that they played enough.
Well, they showed up at different times of the game. Cleveland showed up in the first half and most of the third quarter, and then the Celtics showed up the rest of the way. It's been a strange NBA playoffs. You know, tonight, and we're going to talk a little bit about it, you got the Spurs going against the Warriors. Of course, it's a closeout game for the Warriors, and the Spurs are down Leonard, Parker, and, you know, Ginobili, who's 40 years old. This is very likely his last game ever as a pro basketball player, and he's been remarkable. He's a class act, done a great job. He's been with that franchise. He's helped build that franchise, working under Pop. It's going to be a farewell. I'm sure they're going to be all excited about that down there, and show him some respect. But you know, matchup wise, of course, they don't match up very well against a team with four superstars like the Warriors have. I have speaking of winning bets, I have a Diamond Dominator going tonight. It's $20 at jimfeist.com. I've been heating up on the diamond, as Dave had mentioned. Get on board with this big bankroll winner. $20 at jimfeist.com. That's a Diamond Dominator going tonight.
Well, I'm coming off a really good weekend. You know, and those who watch or listen to these things every day, you know that I'm not hyping anything. When I don't do well, I mention that. But this is a weekend where everything went very nicely, particularly the Preakness on Saturday because I had the winner. I thought it was, you know, I don't know what, I got to tell you, I really don't know why this is, but for some reason, the Preakness has been money in the bank for me on an annual basis. I don't do well at the Derby, but the Preakness just seemed to have a good feel for it, and the feel I had going in was that I didn't know he was going to finish last, believe me, but I threw the favorite out. I thought that Always Dreaming and Looking at Lee had absolutely dream trips and that 20-horse field at the Derby, and wasn't convinced. Let's put it this way. I thought that Always Dreaming was really overpriced. And when you can throw the favorite out, when you're willing to do that, you're probably going to find some value elsewhere. And the horse I liked was this 2-horse, lightly raced, but with the reigning trainer of the year, so it's obviously a guy who knows what he's doing. And the jockey who had been on Gunnevera, and it's one of the best jockeys in the business, he'd been on Gunnevera in the Derby, jumped off Gunnevera to get on this horse. It looked like they were really pointing this, you know, they're not going to enter the horse just for the hell of it. It's too expensive to do that. And I thought, boy, he must like this spot for this horse. I think he'll hit the board. And that's all I was looking to do, you know, 14, 15 to 1 is if you hit the board, you're going to make money. Well, he did more than hit the board, obviously. He won the race. So big win for myself and my clients on Saturday at the Preakness. Also an easy super total winner on Sunday with the Cubs and Brewers. Wind was blowing out, 13-6, no sweat there. I've got another super total tonight. The weather doesn't matter in this one. It's what I think is an outstanding play. And it's $20 right now at jimfeist.com. And we'll throw a little guarantee in on it. You got to get the money, or Tuesday's baseball action will be on the house. So good weekend, and we'll try and keep it going. Good news for, you know, I won't even say for football bettors. I'll just say for everybody. The NFL is moving toward getting into the 21st century as far as what fans like to do during games is concerned. And while they're not going to have any actual betting windows or anything like that in the new stadium for the Las Vegas Raiders, it's not going to matter because apparently you will be able to use the phone apps when you're at the game to bet either on the game itself or live action or whatever is available on the app. And by 2020, that's going to be an awful lot of stuff. They're not going to block that out. I think that's a great positive sign from the NFL, where they're not coming out and saying we endorse gambling or we embrace gambling, but they seem to finally be arriving, Jim, at the point where they know that it's going on and they're not going to do much to get in the way of it. Good for them.
Well, it's nice that they're taking their head out of, the southernmost part of their bodies. This online betting and betting during the game, live betting, has been available offshore on your phones, on your tablets, and you can be in a stadium anywhere in America, any of the teams, college or pro, and be doing that.
That's right.
So yeah, they're going to say they're going to allow it in Nevada, but it's already being done elsewhere.
It is, although the
everywhere.
difference here is that this will be legal wagering, which, the offshore technically isn't. This will be legal wagering, and I think that's, that's a real positive sign to me toward taking that next step, which is getting it legal everywhere. And should point out, by the way, that this is not for just file this for future reference. I know most of the people that are watching this and listening to this right now don't live in Nevada. If you happen to come here for a Raiders game, you're a resident of Nevada as long as you're in Nevada, at least from a standpoint of these phone apps. Because what you can do is go to any sports book in the city that has mobile apps, and that's basically all of them now. Get the app downloaded, sign up, get an account. Then you can do whatever you want. You can wager any place in the state of Nevada while you're here. And then before you go home, after your vacation's over, just go to the sports book and cash out whatever money's in the account. It's as simple as that. So it's basically anybody can now bet if they're at the games on the Raiders or on anything else that's going on that day. And it just makes things more fun. We never suggested anybody go nuts with the stuff and go broke in the process, but it does enhance your enjoyment of the game in many cases, and why not make it accessible to all?
It's nice that we're making progress in that direction, no question about it, Dave. Might mention another gentleman that's on our website, Hank Goldberg. They call him Hammer, and Hank had a great...
the winner, too.
He had the winner as well, and he's really big on horses, but he also plays sports and does well, so you might check him out when you come to the website.
Here's the thing on Hank. He knows everybody. I mean, he knows, I'm talking about the movers and the shakers, coaches, trainers, whatever. Hank knows everybody, and he gets great information, and, he always has. That's how he landed the job on ESPN years ago, and we all know how well he did over the years in terms of getting out good information to everybody who's watching. Guy really knows his stuff.
Yeah, you go back a long time. It's been many years since Jimmy the Greek has passed away, but Hank was very close personal friends and worked with Jimmy the Greek for many, many years. He's been around this game a long time, and he sure knows how to win. That's for darn sure.
So let's look at a little bit of action tonight, and we'll begin with the baseball game, or a baseball game. And it's the Tigers and Astros, and you've got that old Sunday night angle, which I don't really track this because it's a public angle, and those have a tendency to not really do much either way. But the Tigers played at home last night and now travel down to Houston. They might be catching the Astros at the right time. The Astros have been playing great baseball since the start of the season, but they finally cooled off this weekend, or got cooled off by the Cleveland Indians, who went in and swept them. Michael Fulmer's on the mound for Detroit tonight. He's picking up right where he left off last year, Jim. He's 5-1 with a real good earned run average. The team has won 6 of his 8 starts. Solid numbers across the board. This guy's a very talented pitcher. That was a good deal they made with the Mets to get Michael Fulmer, who, boy, you think the Mets would like to have him right now? The Astros, meanwhile, we mentioned rough weekend for them, and they're kind of going with an off-starter night. Brad Peacock, who has pitched well out of the bullpen this year, he will make the start this evening. He has not had great success as a starter in the past, but he does seem to be an improved pitcher this year. So good matchup tonight between the Tigers and Astros.
Well, it is tough playing at home and then getting on the road, but it's also tough when Houston dropped those 3 games, big games at home to Cleveland, who, but you've got to look at the Indians on that side of it too. They've been kind of back and forth, up and down, more down than up in most cases, but that could have turned it around for them, and we know how good they were last year. They are having some problems with some of their pitchers being hurt and stuff, which is what happened last year also. But in this particular spot, I think Fulmer has a big edge over Peacock. We don't know what we're going to get from Peacock. I think we know what we're going to get from Fulmer. From that standpoint, that alone, the line had moved from, let's see.
It's actually gone up.
Yeah, it's gone up on Peacock, which I don't agree with.
Well, I'll give you a reason for it. It's not just Peacock. This is going to be a Peacock-Davinsky combo. I mean, he's if Peacock gives him 3 or 4 good innings, you're going to get Davinsky after that, and that guy is just plain nasty. So I think you have to factor that into the equation on this game.
Well, you're sure paying a price when you're laying 135, 130 on a game that the odds makers thought to open it up at 120. Yeah, I can see your point. It's all about value in baseball for me, because in baseball, I mean, when you have a real big pitcher matchup, you're really paying a big price. So you really can't play the game that way. It's more about value betting, and you make a lot of small plays and some spot plays that are kind of medium plays. But in this case, I can't make that combination 130, 135. So to me, I look at Detroit as the right side value-wise.
Yeah, I didn't come up with anything. I modeled the game. The models of the game produced minus 132. So they've got it. The models are right where the line is, and that to me is a stay away indicator. You might see some. If I had to play the game, I'd take the under. I mean, Fulmer's been really solid, and I think Houston might do well enough with their pitchers tonight. And Detroit, look, they haven't been great anywhere. They've been a little better at home than on the road. Tough game. To me, it might be the most interesting matchup of the night, but it's not the best bet of the night. That's for sure. Let's move to the NBA, because we have a chance to get a closeout here. The Warriors looking to make it 12-0 and get a little vacation. They'll be off for about 8 days with a win tonight, I believe it is. The Warriors are facing, as you mentioned earlier, Jim, a shorthanded San Antonio team. You watched last night's game, and it does give you pause, because it's like, well, boy, the Cavaliers started playing like they had it wrapped up in the third quarter, and look what happened to them. I'm not sure that happens on the road, and I'm not sure Golden State is going to let it happen. The Warriors, I know they're talking the right talk. We'll see if they walk the walk as well. They weren't all that happy with the way they played in Game 3, and they think they can play better tonight. I can't take San Antonio here. I mean, it's tempting with all those points, and the team's got some pride and wants to go out and not get swept at home. Nobody wants to get swept at home, but I don't know if there's enough in the tank. You lose David Lee. Leonard's not going to play. Parker's already out. Just don't know if the bodies are there to stay with this offensive juggernaut that the Warriors have.
Well, the answer that I have is that there are not enough bodies. There will be some pride. There's no question. This is an organization that's won for many years. Popovich is a great coach, but they know that they can't win this series. They're limited. I mean, they've lost 3 guys that are stars for their team, and they're out for the season. I mean, how much can you take? It's just been this injury situation in the NBA and these playoffs has been a disaster. Even last night, but actually last night I think with Isaiah Thomas out, I think that was an advantage for the Celtics because he had been running low on his fuel tank was down. He got a little bit injured there with the hip. And, he is 5'8", 5'9", so they were taking advantage of him defensively in that game. So, but they were down 21 points, and it just
Jim,
was the Cavs. The Cavs gave up on it and thought they had it, and they blew it.
That's exactly
right. That's not going to happen here.
It's just, and I'm not picking on basketball when I say this, but it's the one sport, maybe it's the nature of the game because you can catch up in a hurry, which you really can't do in the other sports as much, but it happens more in basketball than in any other sport where teams just decide, and you see it all the time in college basketball, which is why second half betting is such a profitable venture potentially in college basketball. And you see it in the NBA as well, where these teams get up and they just decide, that's it, we've played enough, we got this game wrapped up. And that's where you see comebacks. And you see more of them in basketball than you do in other sports. Baseball isn't configured the same because it's always the individual battle between the pitcher and the hitter, and they both want to do their job. So you don't see letdowns in baseball. You don't see it as much in football because if you let down, you get your head handed to you physically. And pretty much the same thing in the NHL. You start skating around, just going through the motions, and somebody's going to knock you silly. But in basketball, you do. And I want to give the Celtics full credit for coming back last night. But I got to tell you something. It takes two to tango. And if Cleveland had not completely lost its concentration and focus, that comeback never takes place.
I totally agree. But they opened the door for the Celtics, and now the Celtics coming back in the next game, they have a little confidence. And they are professionals, and they have a good coach. And they're going to come out with a lot more confidence than they had going into that game because they had gotten whooped really bad on their own court. So that's going to be a different dynamic. The number last night was absolutely ridiculous at 17. I mean, even tonight's line, but the injury situations in the league has come down to that. As far as this game tonight, I do not expect the Warriors to have to play another game after tonight.
No, neither do I.
Until they face Cleveland in the finals.
I would be very surprised if Golden State loses this game. Doesn't mean it can't be competitive, but I think the Warriors will win. Look, if you like the Spurs, and I know it didn't work out this way last night. In fact, it was the direct opposite. But to me, if you're going to take a shot at the Spurs, you got to go first half. I mean, that to me is where San Antonio is going to come out and give it everything they've got. But unlike last night, if Golden State gets up, I don't think they'll ease off. It could be dead wrong on that because it happened to them a few times during the regular season. But that was the regular season. I just don't see it happening tonight. Don't forget, good offers this evening. I have a super total, which I like in baseball. The number has moved in the game, but I still think it's an excellent play. It's $20 with a guarantee at jimfeist.com. You got to get the win, or we'll give you the Tuesday action at no cost. And Jim, baseball diamond dominator for you tonight.
I got a big play tonight, Dave. A cute name, Diamond Dominator, but it's a big play. It will win. You can get it at jimfeist.com. I've been heating up in baseball, and you want to get on this game because it's going to win. And if you want to follow me on Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, just go into Jim Feist Sports, I should say. And that'll be it for this week, Dave.
That'll do it. We'll come back and do it again on Tuesday. So thanks for joining us. We'll see you tomorrow with another edition of Proline Daily from Las Vegas.